So, good evening, Steve, and good evening, Martin.
Hiya.
How are you doing? You look suitably refreshed.
Yes, I am.
So, anyway, the Gentle Scars is where I know you both from. So, I suppose I'd like to know how you came to sort of meet up, really. I mean, it's a long and varied story, this, isn't it? How many lineups have you had in this band now?
Well, I was thinking about this
Obviously
today. In this band?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it wasn't originally you, was it, the
They had a
Gentle
girl
Scars?
singer. It was John Murray
Right.
and cohort, and they had a girl singer, I think, some Irish lass.
Right.
And she left, I think, and then Woodstock it was, actually.
There was a breakdown at Woodstock.
There was a Woodstock incident where I'm bladdered on the floor.
Is this on film?
It should be.
Yeah, it should be.
And then John, who I knew but from the Cherry Tree and rock clubs and stuff like that, but we hadn't spoken for a while, and then he just kind of peered over me as I was lying there in the pool of my own like vomit. And he goes, "Do you want to join a band?" And I just went, "What they called?" And he went, "The Genital Scars," I thought he said.
Oh, aye.
Not the Genital Scars, he said.
No.
The Genital Scars. I said, "I'm in."
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to be in a
I
band
can see
called
you
the
loving
Genital,
that.
yeah, the Genital Scars. So, and it was only about when I sobered up, really, and a couple of weeks later, I realised it was actually the Genital Scars.
Right.
Yeah. So we kind of rehearsed. We were Widnes. It would have been rehearsing somewhere in Widnes, and bear in mind, they'd give me the stuff to, the demos and stuff that they'd had out to have a listen to like that, and it was kind of like squeaky, kind of pop, really pop rock.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? Almost indie, Echo Belly, that sort of stuff. I ruined it, didn't I? You can imagine the minute I went in, can't you? That all went out the window, didn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, I can imagine you changing that considerably. 'Cause
They
I think
hadn't met me as well, bear in mind, and I was quite young then, so I turned up looking like Marilyn Manson, didn't I? You know what I mean?
with this sort of group of, indie poppers?
Yeah. Oh, with the guitar.
So what, with the curtain fringes and the hooded tops or something like that?
Them on me?
Them?
Oh, no, they were worse than that.
Oh, wow.
They were all like slacks and football T-shirts and stuff,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
that period of time. So what's this, about 92, 93, something like that?
I can't remember.
Because I remember doing a show with you in 93, 4, something.
Well, it must have been before
and that
then.
was, but you were in Kane then, weren't you?
Of course. Well, yeah, this was...
Because I've got the poster still.
Yeah.
So your approach to all this, I mean, you're sort of coming from you're not coming from Widnes for a kick-off, are you?
No.
I mean, you're a Burnley lad.
I'm from Thills.
From Thills.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know from talking to Andy whenever I've said, Nelson's Burnley, and he's like, nah, is it? Fuck. Nelson's Nelson is what he always says to me. So you're from Burnley, are you?
No, I'm from Rosendale, the Rosendale Valley.
Right.
Which is just over the hill from Todmorden and Ebden Bridge, or the other hill is Burnley.
Oh, yeah.
Or the other way, Accrington.
Right.
But I came to Liverpool to art college in the mid-70s.
But before that, you'd been to, what was
Leeds.
it? Leeds, Poly or something.
Yeah. And I was at Bretton Hall for a year. But I had to do... then you used to have to do a pre-diploma to do fine art.
Yeah.
And I wanted to come to Liverpool. So I took a year out and was an apprentice stonemason. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to come here, so eventually I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But between that, I mean, at Leeds, didn't you say that Jeff Nuttall was?
Oh, it was fantastic, yeah. Changed my life. I mean, I could draw, basically.
Yeah.
And within the first week of getting there, I was in a queue going into college. This lad standing in front of me, signing in. I thought, he looks familiar. Weird, this. It turned out to be Paul Rodgers' kid brother, Ian.
Right.
So we ended up getting a flat together. But you go into college in the morning, into a blacked out room, excuse me, and they'd be playing something like Miles Davis or a Coltrane. Spotlights would come on, your life model. You'd have to do automatic drawing. 30 seconds, lights off again. You're being bombarded with, this is 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Bombarded with all kinds of stuff. The staff were all brilliant. And it was just mind-blowing. Next door to us was the jazz college. You used to go in there for your lunch, and there'd be people playing it for lunchtime and stuff. Heard all kinds, just amazing.
Yeah.
So it just changed my whole approach to what art, music, everything was about. And then finished that. Didn't get into Leeds. I did a bit of DJ in a place called Chapeltown. Jeff Nuttall had a bit of an altercation because this club became quite popular with students.
Yeah.
Jeff came along, so some kind of kick-off. Anyway, remembered it. Excuse me, coughing. And eventually, when I came over to Liverpool, I did the first few years. We got a record deal. Left, came back. Jeff Nuttall had come to Liverpool by this point, and I went for this interview. And Jeff, when I was at Leeds, he had long hair. When I came back, I didn't, because I've been in the band. It was, you know, it was new wave, punk and all that.
So was this with Yachts you're on about now? Or
Yeah.
is this prior to that?
Well, when I came back, we'd finished the Yachts, because we'd done the touring and albums and stuff. But the funny bit was I went into the college, and because of having done all this other stuff that was kind of related to art anyway, Jeff Nuttall was into that. One a couple of the lecturers weren't as into it. And but all of a sudden during the interview, Jeff went and looked at me through kind of glasses. He said, "I know you. You were that kid that was DJing in Leeds when I got kicked out of the club, weren't I?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "You know what, you're in." And
Right.
and that was it, you know. So it was brilliant.
Didn't he ask your opinion of someone as well? And
There was a guy who I can't mention his name, but he was a
Right.
lecturer there. But I just basically said, "Well, you've nothing to talk about because all you do is plagiarise your students' work and get it in the John Moores." So
Yeah.
Jeff went, "Yeah, you're in."
well, that's an important point as well about Nuttall, because he's one of these figures that I hadn't heard of until a couple of years ago.
I
Right?
still haven't.
Well, Jeff Nuttall wrote a book in the late 60s called Bomb
Bomb
Culture.
culture, yeah.
And the interesting thing about that book is that it describes a whole philosophy of living and being and creating art, which is the fucking bomb could drop tomorrow.
Yeah.
So let's just fucking throw as much shit at the wall as we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see what we can get out of it, which I think's the best approach to creating art that there is, you know.
Yeah.
And the reason I find that interesting is that I see a lot of that in the Gentle Scars, really. I think that you keep just bombarding sound and getting sort of melodies pulled from it, really. I think you throw everything at the wall. I mean, is that...
Yeah. Well,
That sound about-
Well, or that we should make music and people should bomb it. I was just, as you were saying that, I was just
Well,
thinking.
we'd just been sat in the pub before, and somebody was asking us what we were doing. We was explaining we're going to go and do this, but we were just saying we seem to be writing that much stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't even recorded what we've done already, and we're coming up with new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And we just want to do that, get it recorded, and then can move on. But we seem to be more prolific now than ever. It's bizarre.
Yeah. I was talking to John, John obviously, out the band. He was, when I was talking to him on the phone the other day, he said, well, like some kind of hits factory, you know, with like Carole King and Neil Sedaka. Because, you know, and I don't know if it's to do with, I mean, obviously you've had quite a lot of success, but I've never had any success. And, you know, if you look at bands that are still going, I don't know, just let's pick a band, take Deep Purple, and they couldn't write a fucking decent song.
Oh, they've just done a new album, apparently.
Is that, yeah, well, anyway. But there's a lot of bands like that. They're genius, their time is gone. And, you know,
What they've continued to do, I think, is they've continued to devalue their currency by continuing to produce more and more mediocre music.
Yeah.
Neil Sedaka, Darker, would make a great sort of Marilyn Manson type pseudonym for you.
Neil Sedaka.
Yeah.
On the end.
Yeah. That'd be a good name for that.
Yeah. But it's just weird, as I say. At the moment, we're just.
Well, there's that much fucking shit going on, and I think that the times that Jeff was writing and you know, doing crazy shit with these guys at college in the 60s and 70s, I think we're back in those times again where things feel quite fragile. And I think they do, you know. It's an interesting thing because I think Neil Young said about 10 years ago or something, he said the kids aren't writing any protest songs.
Yeah.
And that's why he brought that album out, wasn't it? Because nobody's really commenting on anything, which is so ironic, really, considering you've got two generations, three now, that have known nothing but war.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing but war in the world.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm amazed that there aren't more voices like that, but I suppose we are now reverting towards more and more anodyne shit that has got nothing to say.
That's interesting because some 12 months ago, we were looking to do, for a specific, because we're writing songs, what I'm concerned about is, I've been in bands that can write pop songs, but they've got nothing really to say. And when I met Steve, the first thing about meeting Steve was, I'll explain how we met anyway, but was the fact
that's what we were talking
That's what we were before we got one.
Shall I tell you that first? Shall we get on with
No,
that?
it's cool. Just remembered.
I just thought when I went to see his band
at
the Lomax, and I just thought, it's a great front man. You can't hear the lyrics, and you can't hear the vocals properly. When I did get to hear the lyrics were great, because they had something to say, and they had a purpose, and they had a point to them. And whatever else was going on in Liverpool, you go outside the city, or you go to any gigs, they want bands who are doing covers. It's almost impossible to get gigs if you're doing original material. I'd stopped playing for ages because I thought, I'm not doing covers. I've always vowed I'm not going to be one of these old Liverpool rock musicians that'll go and do covers anywhere and play in every pub. I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to play a cabaret, etc. So I just stopped playing because I'd lost interest. I wasn't interested in the digital side of stuff. I'm still purely analog, and I'm still a Luddite with technology. But I just thought they've got something, he's got something in the lyrics. So
we basically just bumped each other in K Passa.
In K Passa,
right?
I'm sat on that little ironing board, as we call it, when you go in.
Yeah.
This guy comes in looking quite glammy with the New York Dolls t-shirts on, which 10 years ago, which it probably is about now, or maybe less,
right,
was quite unusual, and especially on Lark Lane. And I just commented to say, great t-shirt. And he went, oh yeah, cool, cheers. And then, and I happened to say, I said, well, funnily enough, I did a gig with David Johansen in Max's Kansas City years ago. And he went, fuck off. I said, well, I did as it happened. So we got talking.
I thought he was Michael Livo, by the way.
And then,
how come you ended up doing this?
I spoke to him.
So this gig that you're on about?
That was a yachts gig. When we first recorded the album, we only had a visa to record, but we did one gig, and we were named as the Small Dinghies. So it was like an underground gig, but it was at Max's Kansas City on New Year's Eve supporting David Johansen. And all the great and the good were out there. There was the Ramones there, and Television and Talk. They were every band that we loved had turned up at this gig. And we just couldn't believe it. And we finished the set, and there's a knock on the dressing room door, and it's like Debbie Harry and Christine and Joey Ramone, and we go, oh, we love your gig, we love your 4-piece at organ sound, and we were absolutely shell shocked. I mean, shell shocked.
Fucking hell, bet.
So, and bear in mind, so he's telling me this story in the pub the first time I met him like that, and I mental note was going, just get rid of your bass player. I said, have you played for a while? And he said, I'm done with it. He said, I haven't got a bass.
Did I?
Done it. He was completely finished with music and stuff like that. And I went, do you want to join my band? And he was looking at me and he went, well, I'll need to listen to you first, like, you know what I mean? But in my head, I thought, he's going to be the bass player in my band. Right. I don't know if he can play or whatever, but simply for that, they knew everyone, you know what I mean?
Well, this is
and he had this good pedigree and stuff, so I just thought, I got rid of my bass, but I got him to come down first.
Well, this is a funny thing with you, though, and your sort of revolving door of musicians in your band, isn't it? Yeah. You all, I think, from the outside looking in, you seem to cast people as opposed to think
it's
about
never been
whether
about
they
music
can
in my band, you see, that's the trouble.
No, it's more like casting it.
It wasn't that. It was about
personality.
Sex was probably the first thing. Sex.
Drugs and violence.
And drugs and violence, really, yeah. And I mean, obviously we knew each other, we know. I used to actually just book gigs before I even had a band. It's a Gemini thing, I've just got bored, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'd just book a gig that someone had said, that's a really good venue. Kind of would advertise it as an event and stuff like that, and then I'd be fucking running around trying to get a band together.
Well, this is more like Jeff Nuttall's philosophy of happenings, isn't it?
Yeah. Running around, and then I'd get a band together, we'd do a gig, it'd be great, and then I was off then, you know what I mean? It was fine, but done that then. So it was never really about music with me.
No.
No, I liked music, but I just... Well, I think probably didn't see my place in it.
Music's the vehicle, isn't it?
But I think the thing with Steve is because he writes and he writes for kind of well, TV theoretically and kind of screenplay stuff. It's his writing. That's what fascinated me.
Yeah.
And he passed me like a load of lyric sheets, and I read this stuff, and I just thought, you know what, this is great, because you can pick up most album sleeves and read lyrics, and it's like, to me a lot of it is like naive sixth formers, A-level
certainly
stuff.
What my writing's like.
But the majority of pop stuff, and well, not pop stuff doesn't even get that far. It's not even O level.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just read this stuff and I thought, he's got something to say. He means it because he lives it. And I thought, I can be involved with this, and it isn't going to drag me into that pop shit, because I've done all that.
Well, you've always been... Well, you were drawn here because of people like Adrian Henry and the Liverpool scene, weren't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, so it's kind of...
I just thought what it was...
from that.
With Liverpool, I just thought... It was so open-minded. And I'd met... when I was a kid, up in Rosendale, I had a friend whose older brother was at college in Liverpool in the 60s. And he became a lecturer at Burnley College. And when I was very young, I was getting access to music that a lot of people wouldn't. He was a bit of a beatnik, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I was hearing all kinds of obscure blues and jazz things that weren't on the radio. Because when you think, you know, music wasn't that accessible.
Oh, the fucking thing is, even when I was young, you'd walk miles to hear a record.
Absolutely.
And
we used to,
that's late 80s.
It was. I wrote a song years ago about the fairground. And some of the most important music I heard as a kid was on the fairground rides. It's like, I think I first heard Spencer Davis Group on a fairground ride.
Yeah.
But there used to be a dance hall in Rottenstall called the Astoria Ballroom, and every big 60s band played there, apart from the Beatles, but the Stones, Kinks, Yardbirds, they all did it. And we used to go down on our bikes on a Saturday afternoon and stand outside listening to the sound checks, and occasionally be able to sneak in. And my mate had a calf, or his mum and dad had. And they had all these little postcards, and all the bands used to have these black and white postcards, like the Hollies. And the Hollies had a Morris 1000 van when they turned up for the gig they did at the Astoria. It was amazing. And so I was just totally imbibed by it, totally into it. Started buying records when I was about that age, when they were like 2 and 9 or 3 and 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can still remember the first records I bought. But I think the first thing was a Shadows EP.
Rupert the Burr by Jackie Lee for me.
Oh dear.
I was 3. My mum bought it.
Oh, right. Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
But I was just always fascinated. And, because I've been in a band like Yachts, which ostensibly was a new wave pop band, but the lyrics, I wasn't really involved with the lyrics, and it was just like doing nice pop songs, but they didn't really have anything to say. And I thought, this isn't the way I want to go.
But you still got signed to Stiff, didn't you?
Oh yeah. We were fortunate. We were in the right place at the right time.
What was the place and what was the time?
Well, it was Eric's at the time.
Right.
And we supported the Pistols, but we were still called Albert Dog then. But then we changed our name to Yachts, and we got to support Elvis Costello. Then Stiff asked us to go down to London and support him again at the Nashville. We come off stage and they offered us a record deal. We were all in the second year at college, so we all left and went, yeah, we'll do it,
Yeah.
And they used to have to ring us, because none of us had a landline, and they had to ring Keith Weinbar at the Albert and say, can you get a message to the Yachts? Tell them they've got a gig in London on Saturday. That kind of stuff.
Great, that.
It's fucking cool.
And that's how it was going on, and that's the only way they could get in touch with us. And so that's how it started off. But I was doing all the driving, all the organising gigs and everything like that. But, I didn't mind at the time. But then when it ended up getting in, because we went from Stiff to Radar, along with Costello. But Radar was a great label. There's got some amazing stuff on there. Perubu and all kinds of stuff.
Right, yeah.
And, but Red Crayola, 13th Floor Elevators. I mean, they put out so much stuff because they were music fanatics, the people that ran it.
Yeah.
And that kind of broadened what I wanted to do as well. So when I left them, I joined Pink Military straight away and did an album. So recorded in New York, and then went to record in Rochdale, which was great. And
Which was
But I
best?
preferred it, but I enjoyed it more in Rochdale.
Yeah, you
I loved
would.
being in New York, because New York then was like, Liverpool. It was
Dangerous, though.
just dangerous, but like run down. Because I was living on Upper Parliament Street, and there was like, there'd be bundles of waste blowing down the roads, like what's it called?
Tumbleweed.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah.
And packs of wild dogs. I mean, 10 and 20 dogs. You'd be walking home, you'd be like, whoa, this is...
hell.
Oh, seriously. Seriously, that's what Liverpool was like in the late 70s.
Right.
And then, but weirdly enough, when we did tour America, we went to Chicago, and Chicago looked like Liverpool, because it's not quite as high.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I feel at home here, this is cool, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being from Rosendale, it was like... Because when I went to America, it was the first time I'd ever been on a plane. I'd never flown and never left. Well, I had been on the ferry to France, but that was about it.
They hadn't been going for that long, had they?
But that all...
It was a biplane.
Yeah. But that all sort of... I remember you saying... Didn't you say that you were with Motorhead at some point? And...
Oh, that was a cricket match.
Oh, cricket match. Yeah, that was it.
That was ridiculous.
Couldn't have jumped to that, could you?
No.
Cricket match.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Lemmy playing cricket. Did he keep
Well, he
wicket?
did.
Oh.
No, that was Filthy Phil, the drummer.
He kept wicket.
It was a charity match between bands and the press, and I can't remember what the ground was called. It was in London. I don't know how much of this I can tell you because it involves chemicals.
Yeah,
but
you can say what you want.
can we?
Yeah, well, of course you can.
Well, we went in, and me and I think it was Henry.
They're all dead, it don't matter, does it?
Too many
they're
chemicals.
We went in, and the first to turn up were me and Henry, and Lemmy and Phil,
Right.
and this guy who opened up this cricket pavilion. We goes in, stacks of ale piled up everywhere, and we met Lemmy, and then before, because they were squatting on the top floor of Stiff's offices at the time,
Right.
so we met him, and he was sound, you know, he was a nice fella to me. Always had that leather on. And he went, all right, Martin, all right. He said, and he goes, do you want a line? And this is true. He used to have them weirdly, because although he was a bass player, he had long fingernails on both hands.
Yeah.
And he gets this big bag out. Speed, not coke.
Yeah.
And he just goes in and he goes, 2 handfuls, fills every fingernail up and just goes... and he goes, here you go. I went, no, fuck off, you dirty bastard. And he cut this table like this, and he put this line, the length of the table.
Fuck.
He said, there you go. When you are kidding.
And the tragic thing is, you know, so he's telling me, when we met this, he's telling me all these fucking stories, isn't he? You know what I mean? Going on like this. And he goes, who have you met that's famous? And I just went, Jackie Florrick.
Oh, you can't compete.
No, that's what I was like. He's got a new Juno, and I just went, Jackie Florrick.
These weren't intentional, just by accident. Being in the right place at the right time. But this cricket match was weird because half an hour in, it started, and Phil had took a load of cans onto the pitch and built a second wicket out of cans behind the wickets. And then John-Jack Brunel turns up on his Bonneville. And all these kids just run right across the cricket match to the other side to kind of, you know, make a big fuss of him.
Yeah.
And then he eventually joined the match, like, but there was like people from Squeeze, Stranglers, Motorhead, us, a couple of people from, what were they called? Oh, Jules Hollands' band, and
Yeah.
what were they called?
Squeeze.
Squeeze, yeah.
Yes,
That's Squeeze.
He did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Just purely by accident. But the Adrian Henry thing, I had a book when I was at school, which I love, which was Tonight at Noon. And my plan was, eventually I'll get to Liverpool, because I loved that. And unbeknownst to me, my plan was to try and meet these people from the Liverpool scene.
Oh, for fuck's
Because I was
sake.
fascinated, and they all drank in the Crack, which was the Art College pub.
Yeah, yeah.
I met him in the first week. So I was just blown away, and I became quite good friends with Adrian. And it was like, I don't believe that. This is just like, this was meant to happen.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got involved with things like the Liverpool, the Young Festival stuff, and the kind of science fiction theatre and all that kind of stuff, which was Ken Campbell.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. And I was just like, Liverpool took me on, basically. I feel privileged to be here, to be honest, because it's like, I mean, I am a total outsider. And having said that, I spent like 15 years working in youth clubs all over this city. And with my accent, it was the bloody woolly back, blah, blah, blah. But I was used to that from day one.
Yeah.
So it was like, I go, fuck off, get on with it, you know, wise up. And it worked, you know, and I never used to get grief, you know, I'd just get over it. And I used to work with a girl called Delia, who has that hobo thing in town. They do the, and because so she was a proper scally with a proper Scouse accent, and we just used to bounce.
She interpreted.
Yeah, but we used to just bounce off each other, and the kids used to get on with it, and it was, you know, it was cool.
Oh yeah,
so we just got on with it.
I mean, to have fucking encountered Jeff Nuttall, Adrian Henry, Lemmy, and Ken Campbell.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. I mean, that's enough, isn't it?
I never even thought about it like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, but Ken Campbell in that period.
Yeah, but having said all that,
Yeah.
he comes into that category with what he writes and
Yeah.
what he has to say, because I
Bless him.
no, but
He's right.
It's true, because people are only as good as the word or what they have to say, and people talk all kinds of shit. But at the end of the day, if they don't bloody mean it and they don't feel it, then frankly I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's just
and that's why I mean, there's so many bands about now, and always have been, that they might have a tune, but they've got nothing to say, or they've got something to say and they haven't got a tune.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think we're a little bit different, because I think we've got something to say, and we can wrap it or we can hide it in some kind of a tune. You know, it might be naive, it might not be that brilliantly played, but I think we play it with a bit of feel to it. You know what I mean? I don't even profess to be a bloody musician.
He is.
But I don't feel like it.
Well, that's exactly why
I never have.
I am so interested, and why I'm going to produce your music, at least for this single. You know, we'll see how it goes, because I can hear all that.
Well, you're not probably a twat. I am. You know what I mean? Arrogant. Fucking superficial,
self-deprecating,
you know, whatever. But after talking to when I met him at first like that, you know what I mean.
You thought it was all bullshit.
Well, I actually didn't. I was quite excited, and I thought, yeah, you know, he knows all these people. You know what I mean? He's been, and I went home obviously and had a little look on YouTube and everything. And I thought he's
and at the time,
saw the pictures.
I didn't even know any of this stuff was on you. I didn't know what YouTube was then.
Right.
Because I'm a complete Luddite with all that. I didn't have a laptop or anything then. And I'm only talking about, 10 years ago.
So I just thought he's famous.
I didn't even know all this stuff was online about yachts, and I had no idea. And I'm still finding stuff now. I'm seeing pictures of myself from the 70s and 80s. I don't even remember where it was, who was there, what it was about. It's bizarre.
But
it's all new to me.
I can imagine it is.
Yeah. But I was just like, oops, you know, we've stumbled across something here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's obviously been there and done it and stuff, you know what I mean? So I said, come down to a gig. So I was in a band of the Gentle Scars, obviously, but different. And I won't go into what Martin said, like, but you know what? But it was literally.
Yeah, you should.
No, it's not, because it's bad for me.
It's not bad for you. It was bad for the. Shall I tell him?
No, in fact, we're not going to tell him now.
I said that before.
Yeah, I said to you, there's one thing we're not.
Fair enough.
Is that.
Moving on.
Anyway, so he came down and just went, you know, I'll join your band, but here's my list of not in a pretend. No, it wasn't even a demanding thing. It was just like, you know what I mean. It's not this, and it should be this, and it should be that. Having had the band together for a while, most people would have just gone, who the fuck are you to actually tell me? But I just went, well, I'll start ticking these off tonight. Get rid of the bass player. Right, obviously, Martin in the band, he was gone. Text, you know what I mean?
Sacked by text.
So basically, I literally just kind of sidelined the band.
Right.
Well, turned the back, you know what I mean? To incorporate Martin in, because I knew what him in the band.
And then I ended up learning how to use eBay, going on and buying a bass for 80 quid.
He hadn't even played at this point.
I had a bass.
Yeah,
you know, I
played for like how long?
I still had. I had a guitar and an acoustic, but I hadn't played bass.
But it was the best thing I did.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly works.
But it was the best, because
he
said it's just not the word that got me, I suppose, is you went, it's not angular enough. It's, you know what I mean? It needs to be more angular. And to me, as long as it was trashy and you had loads of lipstick around your nipples and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was fine, but you know. And then, as I said, we just started writing together, and it's worked, hasn't it? So,
and it's great.
And surprisingly, we kept John.
Yes.
I will not have a bad word said about the way, but you know what I mean? In the list of people that had to die that night, John stayed, and John will never
So
go.
John does the music and you do the words?
No, not at all. It's,
right.
John, up to the point of him joining, had written pretty much everything. He writes, not the lyrics so much. He'd write lyrics, but I'd change them because, you know, really, you know. I'm at the bus stop with me chips or whatever, you know. Because John's, and I don't say that in a good way, because John's got his alter ego.
Yeah, he's got that
Forgotten Cowboy, hasn't he? Yeah.
I must look that up.
You'd like, which is kind of Ivor Cutler meets.
Yeah.
Who are the ones who did National Express? The.
Yeah,
God, you've thrown me now.
what were the
Fucking
band
Divine Comedy.
Yeah,
Divine Comedy.
He's going on that angle, so it's good. But anyway, he wasn't. John's not harsh. I mean, but he did write all the songs, and he has got a really good.
Yeah, he has.
You know,
Yeah.
John's best. You come up with a couple of lyrics, and you've got 3 notes of whatever. Can I even do 3 notes anyway? You come up with a little tiny bit like that, and you just go, I need a chorus and a middle eight, and it'll just come back in like minutes.
Yeah.
And say he knows exactly where a song needs to go.
Yeah.
So John wasn't going anywhere.
And then we started writing stuff around bass lines.
Martin started writing stuff on the bass lines, and I actually prefer to write.
You
I find it easier to write with a bass line because I suppose there's not as many notes and stuff.
No, it's certainly apparent now that it's a lot more bass driven.
Yeah.
I'd say the music.
Well, I'm almost playing like rhythm bass in a way.
Yeah.
Because I have to.
Yeah.
Because we were a guitarist down as well, because we just had John.
Because you know what I like with musicians.
Oh, I know.
The
The revolving door
of
of Stephen Lamb. There you go. So that'll be a good band.
To be
then.
fair though, we had Mill for years, and you know,
And he was
this ever
a
goes
great
out.
player.
Mill was great. He was our guitarist for
Yeah.
many a year. A fantastic musician and stuff, and he only really left because he got a job where he was required at weekends, which is the time you only be doing gigs, isn't it, and stuff.
Well,
like that.
what I wanted to ask you anyway was how much of preparation for a gig or writing or whatever you want to call it, how much do you consider the performance aspect of it? How much do you consider the image? How much do you consider all these things?
Well, surprisingly enough, right, and I again to Martin over this because I was a bit as long as I'd kind of because I had some kind of deranged view on what I thought the band looked like.
Right.
Which I know exactly what the band looked like. Because 6th of June, 1996, a couple of mates of mine said, right, we're going to a gig, Marilyn Manson, right, in Manchester. Never played it for 96. This was, so we all turned up to the university thing, the academy it'll be. Marilyn Manson for £6 as well.
£6.
Yeah. And I was just going,
Fucking hell.
he stole my image. He's just nicked everything that I thought I was going to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Literally, I was just like, that's what I was going to do. That is exactly what I was going to do. You know what I mean? And they went, "Cock you with love." You know what I mean? And sent me off to the bar or whatever like that. But it ain't going to happen in Runcorn, was it? You know what I mean? You were lucky, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'd kind of got to the point where I thought, if I look all right, and I just jump around enough, no one will see who's ever's in the band anyway, no matter, you know what I mean? So I used to just do this, you know, with the cloak, so no one could see who was in the band.
Big sheet.
Only Martin saw them, and Martin went, no. And I can't remember. And I say I like the band, and I thought we had some great songs and stuff like that. And we were filling venues. The first time when I asked him to come down was the Lomax.
The Lomax.
Shocker, you know what I mean?
Oh,
we were pulling the people in and stuff like that. But Martin just went,
The thing
your
that
craft is you don't come on, you don't tune up when you're coming on stage, you don't, you know what I mean?
he came on, and
because
the
he'd
bass
had the
player-
professional of being in the yachts
Yeah.
and it all being, and all that I had to kind of take on board.
It's nice for
really.
someone to come along and
It was just
smooth off the rough edges,
that,
eh?
that
Exactly.
kind of stagecraft thing.
Yeah.
They'd come on, he looked great, the rest of the band didn't, but the bass player stood there and started playing the bloody Queen bass line
Oh, no.
before they started the set
No,
and stuff
just
like
to-
that.
No,
kind
it's
of
just
tuning
that it
up,
just-
you know what I mean?
No, but it just ruins.
ruined
Of course it does.
absolutely. Well, that ruined the gig for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I said to Steve after. I said, look, as you said, you're a great frontman. You've got some great songs there if you can hear the lyrics. The mix was bad, but the band is the wrong side of cool, which they were. and that's what started the ball rolling. But as I say, at the time, I didn't have a bass. I wasn't even thinking about being in a band.
No.
It was him, and it was just the conversations that we had and the kind of mutual interest that we had, and because we talk shit all the time, and it might be films, it might be books, it might be whatever we've seen, whoever we've met, whatever. It doesn't always relate to the band, because we do spend a bit of time together nattering and stuff. Not always about the band, obviously. And it's that kind of juxtaposition of where we're both coming from that makes it interesting, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just done a song recently which we've completely changed, and I actually came up with the lyric, but he's changed it all around. But it's very locally focused, shall we say.
Right.
Which we wanted it to be. And but it's got a kind of weird ethos to it. And the other one's like The Pusher, which is about the serial killer supposedly in Manchester and the canals and all that stuff. So we've always got a kind of, we start with a theme.
Well, it's always cinematic though, as well, isn't it?
Yes.
I think what you do is always very cinematic.
I think that's because we're both.
And it'll hopefully be getting more cinematic.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted to produce some of your music, because it was just like, I'd like you to hear what I can hear in it, and then you can go, that's shit.
Well, that relates. That relates to the imagery as well, because had we access to the technology and the finances to do it, I think we would be we could do a spectacular kind of stage show presentation.
Yeah. I mean,
but do it cool, not do it like so it's lavish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In terms of that, yeah, you're still constrained by money, but in terms of sort of filming something now, it's so democratized with the software and the equipment. I mean, me setting this little place up, you know, it hasn't really cost all that money, and I think that now, I think you could get this sort of thing down, and it's an essential tool to get your music out there now. I mean, when planning this podcast, 10 years ago, you could just do audio, but the audience now, every year they're expecting more and more and more stuff. So I think a video would be a great fucking idea. I really think.
Well, we're all going to the studio soon, as you know.
Yeah, well, we'll do that.
We'll
do that in August.
And some videos and stuff, because obviously we've got a pitiful amount on YouTube. In fact, as I say, you know, as Luddites, technical, we just never bothered, you know what I mean? We've just
because we've not known how to do it ourselves. We can't afford to go to somebody else say, can you help us do this? And because the kind of members of the band keep changing.
Yeah.
They don't keep changing.
No, but
they haven't changed for a while now, have
no,
they?
it's settled at the moment. And we've got this new guitarist, Ivan, a Brazilian lad, really keen, committed, looks the part.
For anyone listening, let's just clear that up, that, you know, because it sounds like we just, like, you know, change out. We don't. Exactly. We've basically, John's been in the band since the start. I've been in the band since the start of it. We've had, the drummer was Phil, was with us for most of the thingy, and then whatever, we got Peter in, didn't we, for a while, and then Aaron's been in for a while. So and it's been me, Martin, and John. And Mill as well. Mill was there for 5, 6, 8 years. It's not like we're changing all the time. And I say Mill unfortunately had to go because he had other commitments with his work and stuff like that. And that left us just, you know, me, Martin, Phil, and John, and no second guitarist. And it's more, we've had trouble getting second guitarists in more than anything else, really.
Now we've got a kind of settled drummer in Aaron, and we've got Ivan in. So.
I wouldn't like anyone to think that it's this band that just kind of, everyone falls out every week, and that's cool. Is that cooler? I'm not sure which.
Well,
which is better.
You've always been one for changing things, but I think that you were always striving to get the lineup you've got now, weren't you? That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
You know, one of those things whereby you keep going, and now you're happy with the lineup. So
and
time to...
and not in a good way or a bad way, I'm not sure about this, is we've never, I don't know about you, but I've never been part of this kind of, the Liverpool kind of punk clique, you know what I mean?
What's the Liverpool punk clique?
I'm not naming names.
No, I don't want to...
But,
we don't need to go there.
He's right.
You know what I mean? There's like... I don't know. Aaron, for example, he's in another band. He's in our band and he's in another band as well.
Right.
They rehearse in a rehearsal space with probably 3 or 4 quite well-known Liverpool bands, and it's sort of incestuous. They all just swap musicians and stuff. And
Yeah, there's loads of that in Liverpool.
I just couldn't deal with that. Not that they didn't want me. Let's get that clear. I'm sure they wouldn't want me, but I couldn't be arsed with all that. Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
You can only do your thing.
Yeah,
can't you?
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
Yeah,
and I'm the same. I can only do what I do.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah,
you can't. I couldn't have people standing in and changing. And can we borrow him? And we'll swap him for him. And we'll do your songs and you do.
It's
our
not
songs.
like when you're like 16 though, when you're starting out in it, when there's like fucking punch-ups about it. I mean, I remember being really young, and it was when we were starting. Do you remember Pentagon in Widnes?
I certainly do.
You won't be aware of this. In Widnes, there was a tumble-down building on Albert Road, am I right?
It was.
And I think it was above a motorcycle dealership.
It was, yeah.
Right? And it's called Pentagon Studios, and it was this old fucking dilapidated building. And if you were unlucky, you got that very top room and carrying amplifiers.
So this
and
is a
drum
rehearsal
kits. It's a rehearsal space. Rick Astley used to rehearse in there.
Yeah.
And in there, it was sort of it was quite a nice little sort of gathering, but everyone fucking hated each other.
See, that's what it should be, really. That's what it should be.
But we were fucking kids. I mean, that's just the way it was.
I still think that like that now.
I remember once we were in there.
Having said that, funnily enough, having said that, going back to kind of say 19.
Can I go for a piss, or is that really bad in the middle of an interview?
No, go on.
It's just a chat, man. There's no fucking stress. Yes, just the through the gilded curtain.
Just going,
and there's the light shot.
The gilded chasm.
The gilded chasm.
I remember like the kind of late 70s, the Armadillo tea rooms on Matthew Street. It'd be really funny because you'd have Teardrops in one corner, the Bunnymen in another, Wiley and his crew in another, Yachts or Pink Military or whatever in another side, and they wouldn't be talking to each other. Well, I talked to everybody. I never had a problem with anybody, and like
I'm the same.
I was mates with like Corpy and Wiley and McCulloch and we were quite good friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never had a problem. I produced early stuff for Teardrops and.
Well, yeah, you were saying you produced the first single, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't the first single, but I helped on Bouncing Babies and put that together. Just changed the drum pattern and a few other bits and pieces.
I must reread his autobiographies. Are you in that? Are you?
Probably not, because Julian like forgets all kinds and then
fucking great books those.
I like
it's Head On and
Head On, yeah.
I can't think it's a book.
Head On's great, yeah. That's
it's
the
2-in-1 one in it that you get. But you can get them now. You've probably not got the two.
I've not got it. I've got Head On.
Head On, and I can't think what the other one's called. I'd say Flawed Genius, but I'm sure I'm wrong.
No, actually, that rings a bell.
Yeah,
but it was just funny because they were all kind of quite insular, and they mixed, and they had this kind of supposed Crucial 3 band, which was Mac, Julian, and Wiley.
Yeah,
which never actually really happened, but it was all.
He says that in the book,
but it's talked about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it was an idea, but it was just all that. It was all a bit petty, but yet it was exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and.
Well, it was exciting, and
it
produced some fucking great music that whole period.
Yeah,
you know, stuff that's lasted. I remember being a kid, and I remember Reward coming on onto the top of the pops, and it's just like they distilled all that new wave and punk thing into just great stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I
agree.
used to wear that flying jacket, didn't he?
Right, yeah.
With all the rips in it.
I was wearing a flying jacket then as well.
I think we went to Milton Keynes. What year would that be?
Get your mic a bit closer, Steve. Now you've been drained.
79, 80.
Oh, done now, yeah. Yeah, we went to the Milton Keynes. I think it was the first ever gig they did at Milton Keynes Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Queen,
Oh,
Status Quo, Heart.
Which is why you went, probably.
Well, yeah, but we won't go into that.
Heart were great.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah, and Teardrop Explodes. And I say this only because, as like kind of, you know, dragged there with my brothers and stuff, and they're all bikers and stuff like that. And the first time I kind of sat up, I went, "Oh, was Teardrop Explodes were on." Bit of a thing to put them on a bill like that as well, weren't they? Obviously, you know what I mean. That was a bit of a risky thing to put them on a bill. But I remember sitting there and I just went, "Oh." When Teardrop Explodes came on, and I was just like, this is much more, you know what I mean, what I want to do, you know what I mean?
Oh no, they were absolutely just phenomenal. I remember that moment very, very well. And the trumpets and everything. So it was sort of like Dexy's Midnight Runners, but cooler. And a very, very well, it's a Liverpool thing, really, isn't it? But again, ironic because Julian Cope's from bloody in the Midlands, isn't he? Where them
Tamworth.
where them pigs escape from, isn't he? Tamworth.
That's it.
Yeah, the Tamworth.
Funnily
too.
enough, just a little interesting aside from that, because like prior to me coming to Liverpool, I've been into the kind of Northern Soul kind of mod thing and all that. But I gave Julian a couple of cassettes, compilations of a load of Northern Soul stuff, and the brass section of Reward is lifted from a thing called, I think it's Competition Ain't Nothing by a guy called Little Carl Carlton.
Wow.
That came out on
Did you
Sue.
record Echo and the Bunnyman? The
Teardrop
it was
Explosive.
Teardrops,
Teardrop, I
yeah.
mean. Did I say Teardrop, I meant?
That was
yeah.
Bouncing Babies,
Bouncing,
yeah.
yeah.
But that was, so I'd give it, so that's why Reward and things like that, they had that very kind of, it's a very soul rhythm if you think about it.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a cracking song.
Yeah, I loved it.
Well, it's a funny thing. I mean, I grew up in Haydock, which is down the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and it's a funny thing about Motown music and that part of the world particularly.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very strange. And I remember my uncle, who was a miner. You know, he's gone now, but my uncle Jimmy, and it's sort of like these guys who, you know, they were fucking
Hard
men. But on a
But they
Saturday
danced,
night,
they danced.
fuck, man, with the Motown
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You'd hear him well, you'd smell the aftershave.
Oh yeah, Old Spice it was.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but you'd smell the aftershave
Before
coming
Brut,
downstairs.
it was Old Spice.
And he's singing his head off all this Motown music.
yeah.
And you're like, it's so strange because these men never showed any kind of emotion, but through this music, they were able to just express themselves.
What was going on then? It's kind of late 60s. And do you remember the Locarno ballrooms? Mecca.
It's just a bit before my time.
Well,
really.
there was a big organisation called Mecca. I think it was
Yeah,
part of the.
I only know them as bingo halls.
Yeah, well, I think it was part of like the Robert Stigwood organisation,
Right.
something like that. But they were doing, and they were all doing it. Burnley, Blackburn, Blackpool, Wigan Casino was much later on. It was like,
Late 70s,
A bit
what,
later.
76, 77
Yeah.
or something.
and I went to the tail end of it, and they had a special room which was for more like the more purist part of it, because Northern Soul went more into kind of Philadelphia soul and a
Yeah.
bit more. But all these venues were doing these nights where it was just for the kids who were into this dance stuff, and they all had DJs. And I got to do a bit. I was only like 15 or something, and I got like a half-hour slot, and I was chuffed to bits. But we used to move round from Blackburn to Burnley to Blackpool and all this. But at the same time, the same venues were putting gigs on. So I saw the likes of the Nice. I saw event not long after that. Emerson, Lake and Palmer did one of them.
Right.
Julie Driscoll, Ike and Tina Turner. So they put on soul bands and up and coming prog rock bands or whatever. And it was great. I mean, I saw Atomic Rooster on with something like Ike and Tina Turner or something weird in
nuts,
Burnley,
man.
Mecca, and weird like
That
stuff.
is just
Bizarre.
lovely. What a
Just
great
bizarre.
time.
But there was one gig, and I didn't go. It was at Blackpool Locarno, or it might have been Blackpool Tower, and it was the complete Stax Vault tour with Jimi Hendrix, Julie Driscoll with the Brian Auger and the Trinity, and Quintessence on the same bill, and it was something like 7 and 6 for the night.
Jesus Christ.
So you had Otis Redding, you know, Aretha Franklin, Booker T and the MG, all that lot, plus Hendrix and all. It was just like,
That's
how the
fucking
hell did you do
amazing.
it? It was amazing.
Well, that's the thing now. Gigs like that, and you see footage of it. And
Well, they're
there's-
now called festivals, and they cost you 78, 200, 300 quid.
But these gigs that you're on about, there was no expensive lighting. There was no.
No.
You didn't need it when you had the quality of the artist.
They
that
used
you
to have
had
the
there.
house lighting, and that was it.
That's what I mean. And now it takes, you know, like it was actually me and someone else this afternoon. We were on about the Rolling Stones, and there's this intro movie that they showed for I can't think what the fucking song was. Sympathy for the Devil, for sake of argument. And they said this movie that they showed was amazing.
Yeah.
And then as an anticlimax,
They
these
came on.
fucking guys just sort of wander on who are, you know, I mean, I think not in the same league as Deep Purple in terms of diminishing the currency, But I think that these bands that just go on and on and on and on and on, it's like the Beatles are frozen in aspic, aren't they?
Yeah.
And because of him dying, Hendrix is the same. And these people sort of achieve this godlike status. But when you hear from somebody who actually saw them, as you're saying now, it's quite justified, really.
Well, that's strange you mentioning the Stones, because I've got all of the Stones 45s. And in the early 80s, I actually went to see him at St James's Park in Newcastle. And I was really reticent, because I thought, I don't want to go to this and be disappointed by it being a kind of gig come the Stones going into cabaret-esque, which I was worried about.
Yeah.
But I got a ticket and I went. And you know what? I was absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
'Cause they came on stage, did a great PA, and it was when they had that stage set with the big mouth and the big tongue and all that stuff. And they come on.
Can we break for a cig at any point, by the way?
Yeah, it's got for one.
And but they just come
I've
on.
had enough of him, you see now.
Have a go with his E-fag.
I'll come and have a cigarette. But they come on, and it was just Keith Richards just opened up, and it was his Telecaster, an AC30, and it was just sounding perfect in a football stadium.
Yeah.
And I just went, wow, brilliant.
Well,
but having said that, I did the same thing. I went to Wembley Stadium and saw Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Joni Mitchell with the Tom Scott and the LA Express, the orchestra and all that. And that was the same. You could hear fret noise off acoustic guitars. So it was how the technology had improved so much from only like 5 years before what you could do with big PAs. And you know what I mean? And kind of getting that sound out in massive spaces.
Yeah.
And that was probably at the start of all that. The obviously sus then, you could take big rigs, put them outside and make it sound all right.
Yeah.
Because early fest, I mean, I remember going to early festival. I told you about going to Reading, which was like the Doors and all that stuff. And I had this discussion with a guy I met when I first came to Liverpool. We had this discussion that went on for ages. Neither of us, we must have been that off our faces, because we must have been about 17. Neither of us could remember the lineup of this band. And somebody posted it the other week on Facebook, and the lineup's just amazing.
Yeah.
And we neither of us could remember who we'd seen, because like Beefheart, The Doors, Quicksilver Messenger Service, just
My mate Sharon,
everything.
sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all right.
My mate Sharon always said to me, you know, like he's doing this thing now, and my mate Sharon said to me, never admit who you go and see, you know, because they'll fucking be onto your age, you know. she went
I'm 64.
I'm not saying she went,
Right.
like she went to the Isle of Wight festival,
Right.
69, 70, so she
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
Hendrix,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
saw everything like that, and she said she'll sit there in a conversation like this
yeah.
and she'll keep her
That's
mouth
weird.
shut because she doesn't want anyone to know
I was
that
with-
she was at an age where she could have gone
Yeah.
to a concert, and so she has to lie and say the first gig was Human League. She just fucking no way I'm saying I saw Hendrix,
Funnily
and I'm
enough,
by that, you know.
I had-
buying that.
I was working in a mill in the summer holidays.
I'm adding your age up, you see, as we go along. Yeah, now. 82.
And I had a lift organised in a wagon to take me from Rosendale down to Portsmouth, and I was going to go to the Isle of Wight festival. And my mum and dad said, if you go to that, you don't need to bother coming home.
Right.
So it was that serious. And I thought, right. So I didn't go, and that's the
Bet
old.
they were disappointed.
That's the but that's the thing I've always regretted.
He's getting bitchy now. He wants this singing.
It's getting in.
He wants this singing.
Hendrix, I think, is probably the only person I didn't see that I would like to see, apart from probably the Beatles. You know what I mean? I think I've seen everybody else I wanted to see. Seen the Kinks and all that stuff, but I missed that. I would have liked to have seen Hendrix. Yeah. I would have liked to see Hendrix at the gig. A mate told me about that he saw him at the not the Free Trade, at the Twisted Wheel in Manchester.
Yeah.
And how he described that gig just blew me away. He said Hendrix was playing with his feet wedged down this bar that went across the front of the stage, upside down almost, and playing his guitar upside down.
I was doing that in a cherry.
So we go and have a ciggy then. Can we have a 5-minute
Go
break?
on, go and have a fag.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you all right with
It's
that,
good
mate?
time, 'cause I was just about to say, you know, you're
Shut
going
the
to,
fuck up.
and you know, say to me, in your best experience of, you know, these classic bands, I think I got wanked off by one of Finn's Liver's roadies. What? This is why our bands kind of work. And I can say that. And I got wanked off by one of Finn Liver's roadies.
Right, well, keep that one warm. And we'll go there when we get back. Yeah, yeah. That is a claim to fame.
That is, isn't it?
So you've had your cigs now.
It stops smarting coffee.
Well,
doctors have said that.
Apparently smoking eases colitis.
I think it eases all. I suffered from psoriasis for years, and it's completely cleared up since I started smoking again. So it's like,
oh, you stopped for a while, did you?
Yeah.
I used to
and I
love
put on
smoking.
loads of weight, and my psoriasis flared up like just doing my head in.
I used to fucking love smoking. I used to smoke in between smokes.
I've smoked
I used to love them.
I've smoked in the shower, you know. I just have a little,
You need a little peaked cap.
I have a cocktail umbrella. I like covered in lipstick.
Smoking, man. I remember packing up smoking, and it was over. Well, I packed it in once. I did the usual thing. I packed it up, and then 8 years later, started again. I had a really shitty time. You know, you have these bad fucking emotional times in your life. And that's as far as the suicide attempt went. I started smoking again, you know. But I was like, right, I'm going to fucking quit. This new year, I'm going to quit. Oh, that second quit, you could fucking strangle someone, couldn't you? You've got beeps going. Is that your life support?
Well, we went to, I remember when...
No one ever fucking texts me. I'm completely off the radar,
well,
kind of.
Switch it off because it interferes with the mics.
Yeah. No, me Karen, my partner, we stopped.
Chuck it in the corner with mine.
We stopped smoking. And we put
What's that? Sorry, mate.
Me and Karen, my wife, we stopped smoking. And we put the money away we were spending on ciggies. And we ended up having a holiday in Ibiza.
What, with
the money?
Cig money?
Yeah. And after about 4 months. We went to Ibiza. So we'd only been there about a day.
Lucky strikes.
Drinking loads of coffee. Packet of Fortuna, coffee,
man.
and it was like we were back on them.
You cannot beat.
I did 15 years.
What, for...
Not smoking. For what?
That's great.
I'm not at liberty to say.
No.
But, no,
Yeah,
15 years and started again.
Yeah, but when you started, you were like that. You were like, I'm fuming.
I was
fuming.
Sat in Cape Asset and someone was boring the fucking giblets out of me, and
Well,
I'd done this for long enough, and I just
That was
went.
it. Because I was still smoking then.
So I made
and
them
he was
start.
bumming ciggies off me, and then I'd started again, and then the next thing is we're both buying ciggies again.
Oh, so you'd stopped as well?
Yeah.
At the same time.
And then we
And
both
then I started,
started
and then
again.
we were on heroin within like a week.
Oh, man. I have the occasional one, and I smoke about half of it, and I'm like, I remember why I stopped these. Because you don't get anything out of them.
No.
That's the trouble. But you
It's like relationships, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like relationships.
Yeah.
You
You get no out of them. Just heartache. Spend all your money.
I know,
It makes you cough in the morning.
Exactly.
Are we actually recording again?
Yeah, sure.
right.
Yeah.
I've
It's
just
like
wondered.
relationships.
No, packing in the fucking cigs is a killer. I mean, not packing them up is a killer as well, you know, but Jesus
Well, I've never been able
Christ,
to because I've never been able to stop smoking weed, so it's like, you know what I mean?
That's the trouble,
And I
innit?
ended up buying herbal tobacco for ages, but I used to do people's head in when I go in a pub.
Well, that
this was
honey
before
roast
the
shit.
smoking ban, yeah.
Yeah.
And they go, what's that shit you're smoking? I was once at the match at Burnley, and it was weird.
See, this is enough to get you starting again, isn't it? That's why I smoke.
Well, watching Burnley would be.
would
And
be.
you're doing all right lately.
Yeah.
I was at the match, and I've sat in the same seat for years, and I know loads of people around where I am. Jimmy McLaur, and this steward come up, and somebody said something about me smoking these herbal cigarettes, and they said, "You're smoking weed," and somebody from about 6 rows in front said, "He's been coming here for fucking years and smoking weed. Leave him alone." And a lot of people stood up and went, "Fuck off, steward. Leave him alone."
But
Brilliant.
Well, years ago, I got to... Do you remember the Queen's in Widnes?
I certainly do.
When it was a proper biker pub?
Yeah.
So my mum went out with this fella, classic mum's boyfriend named Barry, right? So she went out with this Barry, ex-biker and all that. And he said he was in the like in the 70s or something, you know, rolling a joint, and coppers just didn't know what it smelt like then.
No.
And he's like that too. He's like that. What you fucking smoking there? You've been on holiday and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he used to get away with it. Now coppers have got little scratch and sniff cards for the smell of weed and all
Have
this
they?
stuff. Oh, why? They're all clued up because they all fucking smoke it. That's why. You know what I mean?
Tell me
Some of the
about it.
most chronic pot smokers I've ever met are coppers.
Yeah.
But the fucking...
Because they're confiscated and...
Well, yeah,
You-
yeah. But it's... Nah, smoking. I know you said the other night you were going to stop.
I am going to stop, yeah. But
Yeah.
not on camera.
No, no, I'm not committing myself.
Not on TV.
No.
No. I'm going to do it in the privacy of my own.
I used to like drum
Crapulence.
tobacco.
I find that a bit harsh.
Yeah, the halves var shag.
Do you ever remember Hazel Newton? The beautiful Hazel Newton.
Name rings a bell.
She used to be mates with Linda, who you don't really know because we've had this conversation.
We have had
She
this
was
conversation.
Linda's mate, Hazel. And she looked like Kate Bush, but a prettier Kate Bush. So just, you know,
I think I might remember her.
Trash. Tattooist as well. She was just beautiful. But she used to smoke a fucking pipe. A fucking pipe.
Well, like
She'd
a
be
long
sat in
clay
front
pipe.
of
A church warden.
Like a clay pipe
a
thing.
fucking clay pipe.
Oh,
She used to
brilliant.
smoke a fucking clay pipe. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay, what was that?
Fucking no, I don't remember her. But that was a whole crazy crew of people.
It
that.
was.
I remember you lot were like, because you were a bit older than us.
And
we
you
used to
were
go up the
Widnes and we
castle.
were Runcorn and we never really mixed, did we?
No, it's like that book, Men Are From Widnes, Women Are From Runcorn,
They
isn't
are,
it? You know, it's very like
Is that a book?
It is a book now, yeah.
It's a book in
actually
our
liked
heads.
it.
Yeah. Did you wrote it?
No,
yeah.
well, I will
Writing
do,
it,
yeah.
I agree totally. And again with the band thing as well. And this is a weird. All the bands from Runcorn were like really bad heavy metal bands, just shocking. And all the bands from Widnes were indie bands. Did you
Yeah.
notice that? 35 Summers, Great Lady Soul.
Yeah.
They were all. I don't know what it was, but on our side, when the wind blew with ICI, we were like kind of, you know, like
Well-
Black Sabbath and all that from the kind of.
I used to call it.
Birmingham and the
Yeah,
industry.
yeah.
We were all into heavy metal on that side of the water because that's where the wind blew.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they must have had like flowers and the nice hair, and they all were all into
No, we didn't. I used to call it Wid Noise and Runcorn, as in the two different types of music. But no, I mean that was a similar thing. I mean, God Almighty. I mean, you can't name names. I'm not going to name names. But the
If you want to buy the book,
animosity-
it's called Bridge Over
Muddy
Waters.
Waters, yeah,
if you want to
yeah.
know the whole
Yeah, the
story.
I'm not in it that much. The only one comment about me in there is disparaging. So I don't give a shit. But
Everything about me is disparaged. Yeah.
But they were good times anyway. We used to have some good laughs.
did.
There used to be like a lot of venues you could play. There was the college where they did.
In Widnes, not
Yeah.
in Runcorn. We all had to come. It's the thing. We had to come over to the indie side of the
Of course, yeah.
to do gigs because they had
Yeah.
the Queen's Hall,
Yep.
the studio. Obviously, later on.
Stories.
You had Stories. You had the Vic.
The Vic came later though, didn't it?
Yeah. But that was all. And we didn't have any. We had the Fiddlers 3, I think, on Castlefield.
Oh, that fucking place. That's. Oh no! I don't know. I don't
Fiddlers
know that.
3. Was it the Fiddlers 3? Yeah, it was someone like
I remember
that.
Castlefield Community
Was it the
Centre.
Fiddlers 3? Anyway, and like the Crawl used to play there all the time. Fucking great band, the
Yeah.
Crawl. Do you remember the Crawl?
What was that place right out in Haddock's Wood? Do you remember that place?
I do, but I can't remember what it was called.
Some fucking far out the way place that I remember going.
I-
And the panorama was good.
Lit panorama in the cellar in the
Yeah,
panorama. We
yeah,
played
yeah,
there.
in the
That
caves.
was in the catacombs
That's
underneath.
fucking
That was great.
gigs
Crilly
in
used to do
there.
that.
Yeah,
didn't
that's
he?
right.
Yeah,
Oh, there's some brilliant gigs in there.
yeah. We used to play there all the time.
So you see, there was plenty going on in the Runcorn scene.
Yeah. And then someone told us, it's a fucking story for you. Someone told our band that we had a gig at the Panorama.
Oh, aye.
So they said, can you play it? It's one of Crilly's nights, Friday night or whatever it was. So we all turns up with our game goes down there. But someone had just lied to us. They'd sold it off. It was a private house. And we were off in the cellar, taking all our gear into the fucking cellar. What the fuck are you doing? And I said, we're doing a gig. And he was going, oh, you really? And someone had some fucking lie. Said
that
it was
was
a
a-
fucking rock night on and we were playing. Yeah.
That was a mad place because I remember you'd go there for a gig and then upstairs, because it was a hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know, upstairs it was like Faulty Towers.
It was exactly.
Honestly, it was like papers in yet, Faulty, and all this stuff. It was like the major
Downstairs,
being
it was
the corner.
amazing. It was like catacombs, right?
Yeah.
And even
Sounds great.
because we played there
I think
a
it's
couple of
demolished
times, and
now,
you didn't
innit?
even have a fucking room to play. And you played in like a corridor, and they used to fucking pump smoke through, so the whole thing was covered in smoke.
It's demolished now, though, isn't it?
Is it?
It's
Yeah,
gone.
Possibly, yeah.
It's completely gone.
But that was fucking great venue. But we all had to come over to Widnes most of the time, and we hated that because we had to, you know, deal with all the kind of little indie people over there.
There used to be gigs as well.
And they were always better than us. That's the thing. They were more, you know what I mean? They
got more practice. They had more gigs.
They had more rehearsal rooms and everything, didn't they?
Oh, well, we had Pentagon.
Yeah.
You
had Pentagon upstairs, didn't we?
Yeah, carrying that
we
fucking
had
drum
nothing,
kit.
Yeah.
I remember
Southgate
we went...
School.
Do you know Dave Gleavy?
Yes.
You know Dave? He's a fucking great guy. He used to be the chef in the Albert here.
Zen baseball bat?
No, not that Gleavy. Dave Gleavy. He was
Dave
in...
Gleavy.
Do you remember John Power's band? Friends
I do
of
know
Free
John
and
Gleavy, yeah.
Yeah, Dave. So Dave, we went in Pentagon to practice one Saturday, and we got in there, and on the little, you know, you get a little mixer, like my little mixer over there, you get a little mixer, not to be confused with Little Mix, and on the little mixer in the corner of the room, someone had left a demo tape with a 20 quid note, you know, rolled in it. So he gets in there, we're carrying all the shit in there for the practice, and Gleavy spots this tape with the 20 in, just picked the tape up and went. That was the end of the practice for him. It's like, right, that'll do. I'll see you later. Fucking have away. Like, you know. Oh, it would have been ale with Dave, same as us. But yeah, that fucking place, man. But we used to have some really good times in there. We really did have a good laugh in there.
It's where we perfected our craft.
We did. It's where we lost most of our hearing. Yeah. I would say that. And I mean, you'd have had a gaff like that as well, wherever you were.
Eric's, really.
Oh, yeah. Trump was here. Well, we had Eric's.
Well, yeah, we'll just pack up and go home.
We'll just go home. Yeah. We'll pack up and you can go home. Yeah, he had Eric's.
So what, you rehearsed in Eric's as well?
We did rehearse in Eric's for a bit, yeah. And I DJ'd there and bloody played there. But it was like a spiritual home for the Hook, because prior to that, there was a few venues. There was like O'Connor's. There was not the Grapes.
We're too young for Eric's. Let's just put that out there. We're too young for Eric's. We were too young.
Far too young.
Big pub on Bury Street, which the name escapes, and it became like a micro brewery, and it's somewhere else now. But
the Black Horse and Rainbow.
That was it. I forgot what it was called.
That was a fucking great pub. That
initially. And a lot of bands played there. There was various bit small venues, and then when Roger stopped doing the stadium, and then got hold of this club that was the Revolution upstairs, and it was the Revolution basement, and we played the first week, which is when we supported the Pistols, and it was the Pistols were on upstairs, and then when they finished, the audience came out of that club, went downstairs into this other club, and we were on. So the first few gigs that were on there was the Stranglers, the Runaways, and the Pistols, and we got one of the support. We got the Pistol support, but the support man played afterwards downstairs. So then Roger started renting that downstairs. Hill? Roger Eagle.
Roger Eagle, right? Okay.
And then that's where it started, in that basement part, which you accessed then from Matthew Street, because initially you went in from round the corner.
Right.
So that's it. But it was like. We all went there because there was so much to go. The music that was being played was everything from... You get new wave and punk stuff, but it was pre-punk. The punk stuff was only just starting to come out. But he was playing R&B, jazz, blues, everything. Every kind of music. I mean, I saw blues.
The lists are bizarre. When you say, you got like the month's list.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. But as someone who didn't go, and then you look at a list and it'll just go Sex Pistols, Echo and the Bunnymen, the Runaways, Stanley Clarke, and you're just looking at that, and it's 1 and 6, and 80p.
Everything was under £1.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just bizarre, and and now you just, it's a different world that if you just looked at that and just went. That was a month in the fucking, what I mean? Yeah. Bizarre.
So what's going on now? Why hasn't this happened again? I mean,
because
people, it's
we've
debatable.
got food, sound and drink.
Well, yeah. But when is there going to be another one?
It'll never happen again.
I don't think it will.
Why? Why not?
Just don't think. I'll tell you why. Because costs, and also people aren't that into music. They've just got... In them days,
accessible,
in them days, could you have gone to other pubs and gone?
No,
that's the thing. You see, they couldn't have gone to your Rotters or your whatever club. Could you? You were a bit.
Well, we were art students, and they all thought we were weird.
Well, exactly. Now, it's so easy going. It's why I hate it all. I went to a thing recently with Carol, and it was called. It was a kind of debate on. at the university called From the Sidewalk to the Catwalk, and it was how street fashion had influenced high fashion.
Right.
You know what I mean? And in the course of this, you just kind of realise that now, basically, what came out of this was that's why you can go into Primark now and buy a Nirvana t-shirt. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be part of a gang, a cult, a group. There was no, you know what I mean? You weren't in any kind of segregated society. You know what I mean? And don't forget, I've been for this with the queers, haven't I? You know what I mean? Now you can just go anywhere and everyone's got to accept you and stuff. So you're never going to get angst. You're never going to get people that are pigeonholed, or you can go anywhere now, can't you? You can wear anything. You know
What's
what I mean?
Steve said about a girl in work who was wearing a Ramones t-shirt, and Steve said, "Do you know who the Ramones are?" She didn't have a clue.
No.
And it's like, wow.
But in them days, that's why it was such a good place, because there was nowhere else to go.
Well, you could get your head kicked in for wearing a t-shirt back then.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you'd at least get chased for wearing a certain band t-shirt and a certain part.
And I, it's probably made me the twat that I am today. But I had that, but also being gay.
Yeah.
So I was also, which you never heard of. So I'm a biker. Because, I mean, let's forget, I was brought up by bikers in Runcorn, you know what I mean? When I was like, 15 or 16, I didn't know, I had no kind of peer group to kind of gravitate to. So I just went mates with the bikers, the Hells Angels. Yeah. So I was kind of raised by Hells Angels. So I had that and the gay thing going on. So, how can I fit these worlds together? I'm gonna get twatted if I go out as a biker. Bear in mind, I wasn't a biker. When I was kind of 17 or 18, it was kind of new wave. Punk had kind of died, and it was before the new romantic, so it was new wave. So we're talking like Lords of the New Church. Everyone was quite glam, but it was still kind of punky rock. But everyone was kind of, you know what I mean? They made a big deal out of that, didn't they? You went to Gillies in Manchester and places like that.
Rockwold.
Everyone had crimped black hair, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they weren't dancing to, I don't know, Susie and the Banshees yet. They were jumping around to kind of the cult, Sudden Death Cult probably, Sisters of Mercy, Lords of the New Church, those type of bands. Hannah Rocks, my favourite band. So that was kind of the scene. So I was kind of a rocker, but I was into that kind of music.
So this was somewhere that you could go and wear makeup and blend in.
Everyone looked like that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately got confused with that horrible thing that went on in the 80s with America, with the glam rock, you know what I mean? Which just was nothing to do with that, was it? So before New Romantics, where everyone looked like that, but they were in, kind of Boy George. So they looked like punks, but they were playing, kind of music. Music was quite aggressive, wasn't it, and stuff, but the glam thing had kind of happened. It'd come out and it had gone a bit glammy, but still the music was fucking cool as fuck, So I was kind of that, which kind of, my biker Hells Angels friends used to just pat me on the spiky head and go, whatever, you know what I mean? But you'd get twatted. Me and Linda used to come to Liverpool, and Saturday night we'd go to places like the Wilsons and Milo's and stuff, and Planet X.
Freewheelers.
Battered. Well, this is my next point. Comes to freewheelers. So we get twatted. You know what I mean? Guarantee we get punched or spat at or something like that. You know what I mean? But we dealt with that. You know what I mean? And I had the gay thing going on as well on the slide. But then we discovered the Wilsons, freewheelers, and Sadie's, the gay bar upstairs. If ever there was a complex, ever a shopping central divided. So downstairs, Wilsons, rock music, bands. Yeah. So you had fucking bands on that were playing the music you like to play in the Wilsons and stuff. Hells Angels upstairs on the left. Take the wrong door to go to the toilet, you'd end up in a drag bar. Sadie's.
Really?
I was fucking
so this is your one-stop shop?
I was fucking like that the whole evening, you know what I mean? Yeah. 1 minute I'd be up there fucking, with the Hells Angels, the Steppenwolf next door, like that, dancing to fucking Divine, run downstairs, having a listen to Sisters of Mercy.
So
couldn't imagine that, and then got the shit kicked out of me when I left. But you know what I mean? It was great. It was a couple of hours.
Well, that's the downside.
But yeah.
But I mean, you have a better perspective of this than me, certainly. Do you think that the mainstreaming of gay culture, the mainstreaming of rock.
Ruined everything,
Right.
hasn't it? That's what I was saying about the whole thing about why there isn't that type of thing anymore, because you don't have to be in a gang.
Everything's one thing.
Yeah, you don't have to be in a gang. You don't have to be part of any kind of subculture or any kind of subversive culture. Everything's accepted. No one's allowed to criticise anything else. So you can be, a scally that, wears a Nirvana t-shirt and you're never going. It's no angst or anything anymore because no one's being kind of.
You know what? It's really weird.
You know what I mean? No one's being kind of downtrodden or anything.
No.
And I don't think people who are young appreciate how fucking downtrodden you were in them days. You know what I mean? I've been to this is an idea. We'd go to Chester, and there was a club in Chester, a gay club called Escape, I think it was, or something like that, or whatever in Chester, right? So. And it was literally come 2 o'clock. Everyone, they'd turn the lights off. You'd have a bouncer on the door with looking out like that, and he'd just wait for the street to be quiet and go 1, 2, 3, leg it. And he'd let about 6 people out, and they'd have to fucking run down the street to wherever, so that they didn't get the shit kicked out of them. You know what I mean?
Fuck.
And that's what it was like. And one night we came out stupidly. 1, 2, 3, go. We runs out in the street. It was clear, and we'd parked our car in the back of a shop or something like that, in the car park at the back of a shop like that. I need to have a piss, and they were going, you need to get in your car and don't have a piss because you get killed. Bear in mind, I forgot to say, there's a taxi rank next door to this place as well. A taxi rank. Right. So anyway, I'm stood there having a piss like that, and these fucking lads come out and go, you fucking queers! So I'm like, fucking come on then, if you fucking think you're old enough, have a go. We had the car turned over. They fucking turned our car over. They were fucking booted the windows in and everything. Oh yeah, honestly, wouldn't change it for the world.
No, well,
wouldn't change it for the world.
There is that argument, isn't there? I mean, I remember Stephen Fry was on something, and he was saying that an old boy had said to him, about being gay. He said, "Of course, it's not nearly as exciting now. It's legal."
Boring.
But he was on about it being illegal.
I think that all weirdly enough, I mentioned before that I've been up to Rosendale today and picked this guitar up from this auction
thing. Away, sorry.
I'll just do this.
Wait, take one.
And people and yourself are probably familiar with the story of Sophie Lancaster.
Yeah.
The girl up in that girl in Rosendale, I knew her family.
Oh, right.
But the weird thing is, today, I was going to go and take a photograph of the entrance to Stubby Lee Park, where what happened to her happened.
Right.
So I went up to where the gates used to be, and there's now a council site. And there's a gypsy encampment there, a travellers camp. So I couldn't get to take the picture I wanted to take, and it seemed to me like the gates had been taken away because there used to be big stone pillars there and all that. But the very same park where that happened to her, literally 15 years before, almost the same thing could have happened to me. I got legged out of that. I've been to see a girl. I was only about 13, 14 at them. And they used to have like a haircut with a shaved in part, and I was like a little mod, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And up in Bacup, everybody was rockers,
right,
or greasers as they used to call them then.
Yeah.
And I used to play football, so I knew a lot of lads in the area, and the ones I knew were cool, but the ones I didn't know, they took one look at me and they go, we'll fill him in.
Yeah.
And that very same park where that happened to Sophie, I got bricks out of that place, and it was going dark. So when you've got bricks and stones hailing at you and you can't see them, I got hit on my shoulder, I got hit on the back of the leg, I had bruises like you wouldn't believe when I got home. And it's only been bringing that up now that's made me remember, but it's weird that I've been today and I was about to take a photograph, but the gates aren't there.
Right.
But that was Stubby Lee Park in Bacup, but we still want to do
some kind of
gig up there preferably.
Cool.
For Sophie, but because I've known her family for years, and I went in to see them, and they have an office where they run the charity from, in Haslington, and we saw them a couple of years ago, and we did a gig. Where was it, that gig we did? We put all the wristbands out and all that stuff. Where was that? Was it Zanzibar, wasn't it? Zanzibar gig we did.
Was it?
Yeah. And but that was just weird, but it's that whole thing, it's that acceptance of the fact that somebody should be able to go like, I'm different, I want to look like this, whether you like it or not, I'm not doing you any harm, let me get on with it. Which is exactly the opposite of what happened to Sophie Lancaster, which to me, because I'm from there, that when that happened, I felt so sickened and disgusted.
I'm still traumatized by that. It affects me to this day.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Every time, obviously, there's an anniversary and stuff, her mum's on the telly and
stuff.
There was
one the other day, wasn't there?
And I don't want to kind of make some kind of glib kind of thing about. I preferred it when, you know, your gang was isolated and you weren't accepted. But I'm not. I'm not saying that should be the case. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not kind of.
It certainly gave rise to great art, and in terms of tribalism, it created a lot of movements.
And I was talking to I think I was working, so I was in town, and I was in a pub, and I got talking. I recognised this guy's face. He was about 80, like that, and I said, I think I remember you from Sadie's. Do you know what I mean? It's a song, innit? I remember you from Sadie's. We're talking 70s, early 80s, so you're talking a long time ago. And I said, I remember you, you know, from Sadie's, stuff like that. And we were talking a bit like that. And he was old and he was doddery. And I said, you know, in Manchester now they've got a gay village. And he just went, fucking hideous. Tell Queen. He just went, fucking hideous. Right. And I'm with him on that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Do we need a gay village? Do we need a punk town? Do you know what I mean? For fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, the gay village isn't so much a gay place, though, is it? Isn't it?
No.
More...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it was a gay village and straights got battered when they come in, I wouldn't have a problem with it. That's what I'm not saying. But the fact that in fact, we should stop it being called that, because it isn't a gay village, is it? With queens dressed as Pocahontas shooting arrows at straight people, which would be fabulous, but it's not that, is it? It's an all welcoming all. And this is someone said to me that, I can't say this actually, it's the worst thing I would say, but someone made the mistake of saying to me, you're going to the Pride weekend, you know, the Liverpool Pride weekend. And I'm not going to tell you what I said.
No, well, I know that that's not your thing, but I mean, at the same time, you're more interested in being accepted as an individual, aren't you?
Yeah. Or as an outcast. I want to be accepted as an outcast.
Well, that's an individual choice. I think we're living in a time where you've got to... It's difficult. All groups are now accepted, but you've got to be ascribed a group identity rather than an individual identity. And I think that is part and parcel of the reason why you're not getting these interesting people like Bowie or Bolan or Len coming along, because they were people who were outside the mainstream. In whatever regard you want it, they didn't take part in society. I mean, one of the greatest anti-heroes I think that's ever been created is Arthur Seaton in Saturday Night, Sunday Morning, Albert Finney's character.
Oh, right.
Now, when I was growing up, that film was 1960, so I saw it at least 20 years after it was made. But Albert Finney in that, 580 bloody 5, and he's counting the rivets as he works in the bike factory.
That's right.
I'll have a fag in a minute, and all this stuff, And in that movie, he completely lives life on his own terms. But then Sillitoe, who wrote it, I can't think of his first name. Alan Sillitoe, who wrote it, was a fantastic playwright, and he created these anti-hero characters like Arthur Seaton. And I just don't think, first of all, that world doesn't exist, because we've completely stripped the working class in this country of all, I think, value.
Relevance.
Total relevance.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the interesting aspects of the Brexit vote the last couple of years is the sort of middle class, for want of a better word, intelligent people have now started saying, sort of turned on the working class as if they're thick and they didn't know anything, and this, that, and the other, and that, I think, is one of the main reasons why it's become so polarizing and why it's so damaging for a country, because it's literally split people down back to class division and back to geographical division.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And
totally agree with
I
that.
thought we'd moved on from all that. I really did, but
we've
then
gone backwards.
You take a layer off, don't you? And it's all there. It's all there, just as it always was.
Yeah. I just kind of summarise it with me anyway. And I've got a fucking really kind of off-kilter skew view on everything like that. But I quite liked the fact that I was this kind of lone, bizarre creature that didn't fit into society.
Well, everyone knew you and now, still knows you.
Yeah, and now society has evolved, so now they want to get round me and have flags and have a day for me. and have a march. And I just thought, this is
not what I wanted.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be battered. I don't want to be that. But I wanted to be accepted as my own little weird freak. And now they've decided we'll have Weird Freak Day, and they're all going, you know what I mean? And we've got a flag, and they're parading me down the street, aren't they? Saying they're proud of me.
Do you think this
and I don't want that. I don't really want that.
Do you think this is more about inclusion, or do you think it's corporations realising they can harness groups and milk them for money?
I don't know.
Because that's what I think.
How much can you get for a rainbow flag?
Well, Starbucks.
How much can you get for a rainbow
Starbucks
flag?
are doing all rainbow coffee
burgers.
cups and all this stuff. Yeah,
corporate gay. It's great, isn't it?
But I think that, and no matter what the minority group is, I think that the reason why everything's mainstream is just so that they can be milked like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Under the umbrella of we're being diverse and we're just accepting everyone. Well, they can fuck off and leave me and my perversions alone.
Well, I think they are going to leave you alone. I don't think they could find a category to fit you in.
They're going to bother?
Well, I don't know, because there's so much about you that's contradictory. You know, and that's a good thing.
Social bypass.
Yeah.
It'll have to be in a small town as well. You're not going to do any. You don't have Stephen Pride. You're in
Like
Liverpool, or
Royston
it'll have to be some Royston Vasey, really. Yeah. Well, that's what. That's it. Royston Vasey, Stephen Pride.
Well, Stephen Pride has got quite a ring to it, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So what's next then for Stephen Pride?
And the genital scabs.
And the genital scabs. Yeah. Stephen Pride and Martin Diversity, what are you doing next?
As I say, we're trying to come to terms with the ridiculous amount of new songs that we're writing at the moment, all of which
need to be documented.
Are quite good, actually. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So, an album, or at least.
Well, an album.
And the bizarre thing is, we're going to be doing maybe an album, as much money as we've got, as many songs. That's what you're saying, aren't you? As many songs for the many money. And then we'll probably go to people that maybe we know, like, and ask you maybe and say, hey, would you like to come and remix some of our songs?
Yeah, I want to do that. We'll do that with we'll do that with a single for a start off.
Yeah.
One thing you could consider is crowdfunding.
Well, we don't understand that.
We don't.
Loads of people have said.
I've been from a time where I was paid for, people did give me money.
Is this back to the Thin Lizzy roadie?
I think I was given money, but I don't think it was called crowdfunding.
No, I'm sorry. It was probably called illegal then.
Yeah.
No, but I'll show you how to do it. Yeah. The crowdfunding, and I'm sure you could. I mean, we raised money for an LP last year, and it's quite exciting. It's like an eBay auction on stilts, really. As
what do you have to give them?
So
see, this is getting back to my past.
All right.
What do you have to give them for their money?
Yeah. So you'll say, okay, say you're after $5,000. Right. Let's just take that as a ballpark figure. You're after $5,000. Okay. If you pledge 12 quid, you get a CD. Right. If you pledge 50 quid, you'll get a CD. You get to sleep. Well, do you know what? People do put shit like that on there.
Honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How much was that? 50. I'll do it for the tenner. 12 quid, not the 50 quid.
CD and a BJ.
You move it for 50.
No, but you'd sort of do the CD for 12 quid. 30 quid you do a signed CD. 50 quid you do this. 100 quid, and you could have it like up to 1,000 quid, and we'll do a gig in your front room or whatever it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's up to you. It's your.
I know there's quite a few people locally who've done it. Pete Wiley, it's some material.
John Otway raised about 80 grand last year.
John Otway?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, to do a new LP. And
I saw John Otway playing his own secondary school in Aylesbury.
Fuck me, that
years and years ago. That was fascinating. It was great.
Yeah,
with Wild Willie Barrett as well. But it was in his old school hall, and it was full of school kids. It was brilliant.
But I do want to take, without being ridiculous or anything, I do want to take it to. He's kind of set me off on this weird path of kind of, and I'm, see, my musical tastes and stuff are probably not as cool as yours. Do you know what I mean? They're not, but they're good. I'm glad, you know what I mean.
We're diverse, Stephen.
But it's weird that you're looking forward. You're starting to look back now, aren't you? You know what I mean? And much more kind of television, Gang of Four, you know.
A television are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Magazines,
I hear
stuff
loads of that in your music.
Yeah, yeah.
But you've got to remember, there's a kind of,
you know.
if you think of a Venn diagram, you've got that bit where you meet, haven't you? And that's the bit where you can meet and you can evolve from it. I mean, that's always the trick, is finding your own voice.
Yeah.
And there's some people, I mean, you're going about Ivor Cutler earlier.
Fabulous.
I mean, he was fucking nearly 50 when he found his own voice, or however old he is. And then the next thing, he's in Magical Mystery, so, you know. But, I mean, if you found the voice, and if you've now got the right cast...
Which I think we have.
I think we're in a position now to actually kind of...
encapsulate something a bit special.
It feels a bit exciting. It feels like more exciting than it did before, and it feels a bit more kind of dangerous, I suppose. Do you know what? You've got me at the wrong time, because someone actually quoted a really beautiful... was it Jimmy or whatever? Put on, and he said this band...
What was it, Martin Sheen's thing?
Yeah, what did he say? It was fucking great. He said they...
Get a bit near to you, mate, you. Pull it toward you. You don't need to move. Pull it toward you.
They said they embraced the darkness and the red. There you go.
Neil Sedaka?
No idea what that was, but I just thought, as a shallow Gemini person, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. The darkness and the red. And I assume it's a Twin Peaks
I'm going to say David Ballon.
It's got to be a Twin Peaks reference, hasn't it? But do you know, it's the best thing anyone's ever said about us. Yeah. They just had this band embody the darkness, the blackness, and the red, and I just thought, this is the way forward, isn't it? The dark. I have no idea what it meant.
Well, that's the name of your new album, then.
Yeah.
That's probably a good point to wrap it up then, chaps. The darkness and the red.
The darkness and the red.
Cool. We come in the pub.
So, yeah, let's go to the pub.
Let's go to the pub, yeah.
So, where can we see you next?
Right, we at the moment...
you're supporting Bricks?
Yeah.
Oh, right,
Nothing for the next couple of months, because we'll be recording, hopefully, our new CD, which will be the...
ideally on vinyl, if we could.
You know, the next one for the Invaders EP.
That's another one you can put on your crowdfund. For this amount of money.
Yeah, and then we've got October, November, we will be supporting the Membranes.
That's actually changed, but we can't say anything about it because it's a kind of private event.
Eddie and the Hot Rods.
Oh, wow.
And
the
Bricks, Primevals, and Bricks and the Extricated.
And do you have a website?
We have our Facebook.
We have a Facebook page.
Right. So, The Gentle Scars.
But you can always go into a public toilet near where you live. And above the glory hole, put your name or your number and we'll get in touch, yeah.
Anyway, so The Gentle Scars, not to be confused with The Gentle Touch. No Jill Gascoigne. No Jill Gascoigne.
Yeah. Or unfortunately, The Gentle Scabs. No, we're not to do with that either.
Well, you could do a side offshoot like that. I'm trying to remember what Finger used to. The Damned used to have a funny name for their little offshoot.
Yes, it did.
I can't remember what that was. It was like somebody and the somethings, wasn't it? Yeah, like XTC did with the
Dukes of Stratosphere.
Dukes of the Stratosphere.
I loved XTC. Great band. Great band.
He's just released a new EP with a cover of the Bonzo's Humanoid Boogie.
Was it XTC they did the documentary about?
Oh, I don't know.
I saw a documentary recently, I'm sure it was XTC, on Sky Arts, and it was basically just saying probably one of the best bands ever.
Undoubtedly.
We did a tip
I think in fact that
with them.
Yeah,
I think that CD's called that.
It was the Drums and Wires tour we did.
Oh, fucking
it was great, and I watched them every night. I loved them. It's a great band.
There's a documentary out, and I'm sure it's called like something like probably the best band in the world. It's
they are.
Called
well.
Like
I mean, that's always up for debate. Fucking hell, one of the greatest. They are one of the greatest.
And
the commentary on the sort of
English settlement.
Settlement.
Brilliant.
Jesus Christ.
And
Sergeant Roll.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great stuff.
Are we finishing now? Yeah. We're going to the pub.
We'll go to the pub.
Yeah.
And my only thing is, my parting thing is what? Listen to Queens of Pop.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to the Queens of Pop on Facebook.
All right, and find The Gentle Scars on Facebook.
And obviously The Gentle Scars on Facebook.
And have a listen to English Settlement.
Facebook.
Fucking monthly occurrence.
We did it. I once did a theatre piece up in Bootle. And we did, you know the song Melt the Guns?
Yeah.
Did that as a theatre piece with kids. It was amazing. We did it in an old Nissan hut. And it was just It was brilliant. One of the best things I've ever been involved in with a guy called George McCain, who's a kind of hippie prophet in Bootle. Well, very well known, well around Europe in theatre and stuff like that. But it was just a fascinating project. But it was great that. But some of the XTC stuff, like I said, well, anyway, we shouldn't mind why we're going on about XTC. The Gentle Scars.
Gentle Scars
on Facebook.
Yeah.
Steve, Martin,
SoundCloud, Reverb Nation. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in,
Brilliant.
and I hope you'll come in again.
Michael.
And many
I
thanks
will
to
come
our
in, Thank you. Thank you.
Our operator.
yeah.
Right, until the next time then.
Great lad.
I'll see thee.
I'll see thee.
See there.